up everybody, it's Sergio from Carbon, and today I have a very special video for you guys because we're going to be showcasing one of our newest products for the G8X platform. So right behind me we have the RSC style diffuser for the G80 M3, and as you can see, it's definitely a very special looking piece. Everything here looks pretty ordinary besides of course this huge skid plate of carbon fiber. So this thing right here actually goes underneath your car and bolts up to your chassis, making it one of the most aggressive and unique diffusers for the G8X platform. So it's definitely something pretty special, and at the moment there are a couple of retailers that do offer this style of diffuser, but there is a catch. So there's two types of carbon fiber. There's wet carbon fiber and there's dry carbon fiber. And I have been noticing that people are selling this same diffuser in wet carbon fiber for the pricing of dry carbon fiber, which is basically a scam. But a lot of people don't know the difference, and that's where they get confused. So we're bringing a big fix to that to the market because this diffuser is completely dry carbon fiber, including the underpiece. So this thing is extremely light, and most importantly, it will not yellow on you because this is an exterior carbon piece and they do tend to yellow, but this one will not. This thing does have multiple pieces to it, so let me explain everything one by one because it does get a little complicated. Obviously right here we have the main diffuser piece. So this piece is actually gonna have the full outside bumper trim, which normally needs to be purchased separately when you buy a carbon diffuser for your G80. So as you can see right here, it has the little gap that is for the tow hook cover right here. But it's a great thing that it adds the outer trims because for other G8X diffusers, it doesn't have those and you need to buy them separately, and they can be up to $400. So basically you're getting a full diffuser kit, everything is covered. Our next piece is we have the underside splitters for both sides of the car. These actually go under the car and they're meant to make the underside of the car look very smooth with the centerpiece, and I think it's gonna look really good from under when you have it on the lift. You're not really gonna be able to see it, but it also does help with aero as well. On other versions of the same style of diffuser, I have noticed that there are more pieces because these fins right here tend to come separate. So you actually add them on after. But in our opinion, that wasn't really that smart because we thought you could just have it one piece to make it easier to install and also have better fitment. So this is the 5-piece variant. There's also a 7-piece variant that includes the OEM splitters on the outside, but I'll show you guys that after we flip around the car. All right, so now that we have the car turned around, it's time to show you guys exactly how to install this diffuser onto your car. And also, after we're done, we're gonna get some nice shots of it and it's gonna be sick. All right, so the first step to install this diffuser, we are gonna need to go underneath the car completely. So you do need to lift up your car, whether that be with jacks, jack stands, a lift, or even a quick jack like we're using. So let's lift it up. All right guys, so now that you have your car up in the air, it's time to start removing all the old pieces that you have. Pretty much everything, and that brings me back to my point where we were talking about the OEM splitters. So you could have a 7-piece diffuser and that basically replaces this splitter right here, but I actually decided to paint match mine, so I decided not to replace it, but that is an option on the website. If you do want those in carbon to have the whole diffuser piece carbon, you can spec that out too. Anyway, let's get back to the install. So the first step is to actually remove this diffuser piece. You have your OEM one in either gloss black or carbon. But basically there's a couple grommets down here and you just unclip it, and then you go ahead and unclip the outside bumper trim, and then we're good to start installing the new one. All right guys, so like I said, there's 2 grommets under here if you have the carbon fiber version, OEM, and then if you have the black version, you're gonna have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can grab a trim tool just like this and undo them. So you just slide it in on the outer ring and then push down, and it should come out just like that. And then we can go ahead and unclip the diffuser, just like so, very carefully, not to break anything. There we go. All right, so now the next step is to actually do the outside bumper trim. So you're gonna start off with removing the tow hook cover. So you push in and then just take it out, just like that. So to take this thing off, there's actually some grommets under here to take off the OEM splitter. We can do the same thing that we did with the other one, but honestly, it's probably easier to remove these OEM side splitters to get this off. It kind of gives you more space to grab and pull. So there's 4 grommets under here. Let's get them off. And now we can take off our OEM splitters. I have these MHC side skirt extensions on them that also look pretty sick and are gonna go pretty well with this diffuser. And these things are dirty, holy shit. So to get this piece off, there's actually some clips behind here that you're gonna need to get to. So you just pull back those clips and then unclip the whole piece. So once you got the first two clips loose, it should be pretty easy to just pull the thing out. It gets a lot easier once you get the first clips out. Normally when I have my guys doing this and they ask me how to do it and ask for instructions, I just tell them to do it very carefully. And then it is 3 pieces, so you have this small piece as well. There we go. Now we can install a diffuser. All right, so you can grab the main diffuser piece and you can line it up and just clip it in and then apply some pressure and it should just clip right into place. Very simple. And now we can go ahead and grab our under piece and we're gonna line it up. There's a bunch of bolts to use everywhere. So we have grommets here and then over here we have more screws. Sorry, these aren't grommets, these actually are screws. And then over here there's pre-drilled holes with thread so you can just screw it in. All right, so you're gonna get a little bag like this that has all your hardware. So in this bag, you're gonna have stuff like rivets, screws, etc. that you're gonna use to tie everything together. So these 2 grommets right here are where you're gonna use for this area right here. Your exhaust is gonna go through these 2 sides. And this is kind of by your differential. I'll show you exactly where to put it right now. So let's start by bringing the carbon piece over to the car, lining it up, and we'll get it all screwed in. All right, so we did run into a little issue that you guys are probably gonna run into as well if you guys have aftermarket exhausts. So this diffuser mainly fits or is designed to fit the OEM exhaust as well as any exhaust that use the OEM parameters, meaning the active auto work exhaust or the Akrapovic exhaust, because those use OEM pipe sizing. But a lot of other exhausts like the Valvetronic exhaust or in my case the IRL 4-inch modular exhaust do hang a little bit lower and use thicker piping. So this space right here isn't actually thick enough. So there are a couple ways to get around it. Either you could try to adjust your exhaust as close to the car as you possibly can, or you can just shave a little bit of this off so you have clearance for the exhaust. That's what we're probably gonna do because as you know, my exhaust is 4 inches wide and that's too much, so we're just gonna cut a little bit off. All right, so we're gonna do that now and we'll see you guys in a bit. All right, so we did end up making it work. We put the 2 grommets in the back that I told you about. And now next step is to grab these little screws right here, the ones like that. And you have a T25 and just screw in the bumper piece to the diffuser, just like that. Pretty simple. All right, so next up you're gonna grab these screws and these are meant to hold in the sides here. They're basically like tap-ins and you're tapping in to a little rubber piece that's up here. There we go, nice and secure. All right, so now that you got that done, it's time to reinstall your OEM splitters. So just line it up and clip it back into place. Simple enough. Now, it is time to install our carbon under plates. So these are gonna screw in from these holes right here, and you're gonna put this piece over the under tray. It kind of indents, so you can just put it right over, just like that. And then now, you can reinstall your grommets that you used earlier into the proper position to secure both the underplate and the OEM splitters. All right guys, and just like that, after you put in all the grommets under the splitters, all the screws into the 2 side pieces, then your diffuser is good to go and it's fully installed. Honestly guys, I think it looks pretty good, especially since it goes under, but once we drop the car, it's gonna look a lot better. In my opinion though, I do have these paint match and I do think that it looks kind of weird with this carbon and this paint match, so I might change to OEM splitters and then paint the actual piece here that matches up with this piece, so it looks more like unison. All right guys, and just like that, now you know how to install our RSC style diffuser on the G80 M3 and G82 M4. It's the same process. Guys, let's get some closer looks at it, and after that we'll see you in the next video.